In today's episode, double trouble. 2 Glycine Airman on deck. Airmans? Airman. Airmen? Airmans. What is going on? Welcome to the program. Welcome to this hobby of ours. I am your host, D. And in today's episode, my good buddy, JD, has loaned me in a partial of his Glycine Airman collection. It would be Airmans, because it's not, they're not joint. Each one of these is an Airman. Jointly they're Airman, who knows? I'm not Conan the Grammarian, but it is a good bit of fun. I'll get into the why, the wherefore, the here-to-wit of why I've got 2 of my buddy's watches, but the Glycine Airman is a long and storied watch. Of course, we know they're owned. Glycine is owned by Invicta these days. I think it's mostly what you would call dumb money, though, because they haven't messed too much with the design language or whatnot with the watch. They have touched the water resistance, which we'll get to on the on-deck portion of the review. Also, a fabulous book review. A Hobby of Ours approved book, the Glycine Airman Play It Again Sam book. Absolutely wonderful if you're looking to hunt an airman of your own. These watches, gorgeous. They fit very, very well. It does have a prodigious lug to lug, to be fair. You'll see what it looks like on my 6.5-inch wrist. I haven't ever held one of the 36mm versions. I dare say that might fit me better because of the lug to lug, but there's not an awful lot of gap. There's not a lot of strap gap, as G Money would say it there. So I don't know that much can be done about that. But both of these are, I want to say vintage inspired, but for different reasons. This one, the brown one, looks old-timey. But this one was a reissue made to look like the original one that come out back in the day. And I really have to say, I enjoyed my time with them both. It's really making me wish I didn't sell my vintage one. I used to have like a 1968 Airman Special. Gorge. Tons of fun. And you know, you might want to ask yourself, do you get a brand spanking new one? Or do you find one of the more modern ones that was, produced before the Invicta takeover? So without further ado, let's hit the deck and check them out. The Glycine Airman. I do wish that I'd kept my late 60s version of the Airman Special. Had it once upon a time. If truth be told, I don't like this watch. Not because it's a bad watch generally, but because I have a personal difficulty with, telling time when it's ratcheted to that 24-hour scale. But that's a personal shortcoming of your boy D and not an indication of a bad watch. Shout out to Kurt, who espouses that his base 22 Glycine is one of his favorite watches, but also was manufactured supposedly before the Invicta takeover, which we're going to get into a little bit today, in as much as it's important to understand what role Invicta has played in the Glycine story, and how, a lot of the design, thankfully they left a lot of the design language alone post acquisition, but we are seeing, in some cases, very, very little water resistance in these watches, and I suspect if Glycine needed some money to keep going, maybe it was because they were spending too much time on quality control or case water resistancy, and maybe that's how Invicta kind of tried to make them profitable again, but that is a tale for a little bit later. So what do I got here? I've got a pair of watches lent into me by my buddy JD, hoping that he will come along on the channel at some point. But we've started something really rather novel, kind of like when you go to the 7-Eleven, the gas station, they got that need a penny, take a penny, have a penny, leave a penny. That's conceptually what he and I have started doing with watches, and as much as we don't live in the same city, so he shipped me these 2 watches to enjoy, and then I shipped him a couple watches for him to experience and enjoy. Just so happens that I'm also going to get a review out of it, of these 2 little babies. And what a neat thing for friends to do. Obviously you do this with people you trust, and certainly if we lived in the same city, we'd be doing it with arguably potentially more higher end pieces. But the way that shipping and insurance goes, FedEx will only allow you to insure a watch up to $1,000 unless you've got a special account with them. So be mindful that when you want to ship a watch, you gotta get into the nitty-gritty of the language of your shipper. I think that generally speaking, UPS, if you allow them to pack the item, then you can insure a watch for 10, 20, 50,000, whatever. It's unclear what the USPS policy is, but FedEx is not my general choice for shipping watches because of that, because I don't have that special account set up with them. Now, this is not a watch wars, but I am going to pop up some DIMs, put some numbers up on the board real quick here so we can see what we're working with. And basically they're both 40 millimeters. They wear fabulously, both 50 millimeters lug to lug. But this one is a little bit thicker because of its display case back, but only marginally so. You'll see those up against each other and on wrist. Both of them have 22 millimeters. This one has 50 meters of water resistance. This one only has 10. We're going to come to why in a moment. Both have sapphire and both have the Sellita GL293 movement. This one has the GMT hand, this one does not. So power reserve is 42 hours. And the funny thing, come on, focus, play with us today. I really rather, this is called the Nooner. I call it the Nooner, but it's the Noon. And it is, got that faux letter loom looking lettering there. And I have to say, neither of these straps are original to the watches. These are my buddy's straps, but I think he's paired them rather well. This is kind of a, a racing style, both racing style, rally straps rather. And I have to say, side by side, I generally prefer this one, although this one has a little less functionality than this one. They both have that neat party trick where the bezel is, held in place by the secondary crown. But this one was released in limited edition, 1,000 units, and it was meant to be a harkening back to the OG, the original one, in terms of its spec, sizing, etc. The challenge is that this one only has 10 meters of water resistance. And if I'm being honest, to Glycine and or Invicta, that sounds like marketing yah-yah to me, woo-woo. Although this is limited 1,000 units, my buddy JD says this was released before the Invicta, I was going to say capture, but they occupied Invicta starting in 2016, and I believe this was a 2019 release, but he's saying he owned it before then. So I'm going to leave that question up to any sort of armchair internet keyboard warriors to correct me on that. But my buddy knows his stuff, so I'm generally inclined to believe him. It just so happens I've started to rely upon and trust the robots. But looking at, it still has the same type of case back that, not quite, is it octagonal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
3 days later.
It does have the same decahedron case back thingy that you would need probably a special tool. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a regular case back tool can get that off. But the funny thing about the original, get up in its business, right? See where that 24 number is on the dial itself? In the old ones, before they had hacking, they had a manual prong that would stick up and physically stop the seconds hand at 12 in order for you to hack it. And more often than not, when you see those old ones serviced, that is missing and or not functioning. You can understand why. Number one, a lot of watchmakers aren't going to know to expect that thing. And number two, with it hacking a lot, you could figure that would be a wear and tear part, and most people aren't going to have the replacement part. Up in their business side by side. And yes, I am wearing the dress gloves today because these are my buddy's watches. Normally I'd be wearing my pilot gloves for it, but you can see it's only a skosh thicker. They wear weight wise about the same. Okay, so Glycine and Invicta. Now, as much as I've observed, Invicta has been what we like to call dumb money in the investment space, meaning they wanted to keep Glycine going, help it remain profitable, but didn't want to exert an awful lot of influence on design language or whatnot, which is very, very good for the Glycine fan base. Although it is true that there's a little bit of a stigma associated to the watches that are bought after the acquisition versus before. Well, hey, D. Yeah, I got reflections this time of year. What are you going to do? I need to step back a little. No one wants to see my coconut. They want to see these here watches. But I have to say, other than the abhorrent water resistance, which I think was the first domino to fall, the look, feel, fit, finish feels pretty good to me. Now, I don't know what my buddy had paid for these. They're all over the board, particularly when you get to look into them on the eBay space. But when you figure a vintage piece is going to run you north of 25, often north of 3K, if you want that appeal, modern reliability of the movement and some of the sensibility of the design language, so be it. Although some of the ones before the Invicta capture were enjoying 200 meters of water resistance, making it a better all-arounder. And the Glycine Airman is indeed rumored to have come out before the Rolex GMT Pan Am. I think pretty much it's widely acknowledged that it did, or months before or something like that. But let's get a look at these on wrist. And ba-bam. On my 6.5-inch wrist, but I can still just barely pull it off. If I were them, I would maybe tighten up that lug-to-lug distance, maybe get it down to 47-ish if possible, because it's just a little bit of a bat wing for me. But they also make these in 36, to be fair, so maybe the 36 would be a better one for me. All right, let's check out the other one now. And a double bam. I have to say, even though it's only about 0.4 millimeters, just my immediate reaction is that this one fits better. Same lug to lug. Let me get that long lead. But a fabulous watch. Now, brass tacks. If it were me, would I buy a new one or would I seek out a pre-Invicta? I would seek out a pre-Invicta, and it's not because it's right. It's just because that's how I'm wired. I actually have one of the vintage of World Timers. Insert that photo here, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Love it. So they've grown into something that is not what most traditional watch enthusiasts are down with, and I think it's because you buy 3, you get 5 on the Home Shopping Network. But let's be honest, if any of us rolled into Rolex or Omega, a Tudor, and they were like, hey, real quick, D, if you buy 3 Daytonas today, we're going to give you 5. Who would not say yes to that? Obviously, I'm kidding. I'm oversimplifying. And the thing is, the Invicta fan base, they're having the time of their lives. They are loving it. So I say, play on, player. The only bad watch is an F watch in my book. Now, normally, I would do a proper Castro, but since these are my boys' watches, I ain't going to do that, but I'll keep it side by side and without the danger of them clinking with one another. I am going to show you the party trick with that rotating bezel on one of them in a minute, but just wanted to get them side by side. It's hard to say. I like the aesthetics of this. I like the functionality of this and the wearability of this better. It's just, I like that faux lume on there. In fact, let's put this under a light and see what the lume shot looks like.
Illuminate. Illuminate.
And there you have it for the lume shot. All right, party trick time. You unscrew this down here, and then you can rotate the bezel to lock in that other time zone. And then you screw this one shut, and then the bezel becomes locked. So kind of cool. On this one, I neglected to point out, it's got that knurling. It's not prodigious knurling, but it's more stylistic knurling. Whereas on this one here, this one has more of a smooth double smooth crown. So something to consider. And these limited editions, at least 1,000 units is a proper limited edition compared to how I love Omega, but dang, 6,000, 7,000 watches is not limited. What are you going to do? All right, so I would say, you know what? Before we go back to the shop, let's check out this book, because I do love me a book review. Whoa, bam, Schwarzkopf. Did you imagine going out on the dance floor with 2 watches? Why not? I got both. I got 2 wrists, whatever. All right, so Glycine Airman, Play It Again Sam is the name of the book. Andre Stickers or Stikers, not sure which. Here's the thing, a very small book, but it's up my alley for a couple reasons. Because it's so small, you're not going to pay a lot, but you are indeed going to get a lot. We've got about 170 pages in here. And the reality is, if you're going on a glycine hunt, absolutely pick it up, do yourself a favor. Just going through it. So this is very much in the realm of a JG, John Goldberger style book, where we've got a massive photo over here, data over here, and some interspliced stories along the way. Got a couple wacky units in here. Dang, I didn't even know that they made this, but that's kind of neat, right? So if you want to hunt for the Glycine Airman, oh, who's this cat? Captain E. Coker, U.S. Air Force. 100 missions in Nam. Thank you for your service, sir. And, I would say, oh, what? They may, oh, there are F1s out there. You got to watch out for F1s. Who knew? Who knew? Oh, got some air fighter. Okay, some different ones in there. Some borderline. I got some cushion cases. Maybe not my cuppa, but for the front to back view, let's get up in the books business, not getting low, getting high, getting high. All right, zoom in there. Get up in the books business for once, right? This one's for you, D-Dub. Yeah. Now, JD sent this book along with the watches. I don't think he knew that oh, is that a gold one? Dang, Buddha! Styling and profiling. Yeah, this is, the more I look through this, the more I regret getting rid of my Airman Special. It was this. This is the one that I had. Yeah, mine was late 60s. And it was performing very well. I just couldn't get used to the 24-hour scale. Couldn't get used to... This reminds me a little bit of a Jacob & Co., unless I am mistaken. When did they make this? What year? I don't know. Oh, 2009, so before the Invicta acquisition. Who knew? I still like this. I don't know if I would buy it, but I'm going to go hunt it and see what they cost, because it's just kind of an oddball. That I like. That looks like a fully loomed dial. Like it, like it, like it. So this book is absolutely Hobby of Hours approved. There you have it. 2 Glycine Airman. Airmans? Airman. Airmans. I think it would be Airmans. On wrist, on deck for your consideration. All right, let's take it back to the shop. Bam. 2 watches, a book review, and seller's regrets. Yeah, I should not have sold the one that I had, the 68 Special. But I do want to say an extra special super duper shout out and thanks to my good buddy JD for loaning these in the Have a Watch, Leave a Watch, Need a Watch, Take a Watch program that we're going to have a good bit of fun. It's going to give me access to his collection. He is a remarkable collector of extraordinary taste and just a super cool dude. And so grateful to become friends with him in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours. And I hope that where you are in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours, you're doing well. And that you're blessed and you're enjoying our watches. And think about loaning watches out to your buddies, the ones you trust, of course. And, it's going to be a good bit of fun, and we're going to bring you along the ride. All right, we will catch you in the next one. Peace. If you'd like to support the channel, head over to hobbyofhours.com. We've got artwork, coffee mugs, hats, t-shirts, and even a watch book. 1001 Watch Designs, Volume 1. Over 1,000 designs in here. Steampunk, super futuristic, kaleidoscope, even super real ones, watches that you could probably put on your wrist today. It's a great way to support the channel. Thanks for coming along on the ride.